Hello to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends on which part of the world you find yourself now. In any case, welcome. Welcome to our open day to the Global Executive MBA presentation. My name is Giorgia Bava. I'm a recruiter coordinator in the Master Division, and for me it's a pleasure to have you all here. Many candidates in front of me and in Rome, and 395 connected from all over the world. So today, it's a great opportunity for you to know our programs, in particular the MBA's family, chat with the director, alumni, staff, recruiting, career development center, and breathe the essence, the value of our business school, an Italian school of management based in Milan, with location in Rome, Mumbai, and partnership with other important international business schools, because we are here to offer all our participants a truly global education experience. Over the course of these 52 years in the Master Division, made up of Master Specialized Full-Time and Executive programs, we inspire more than 21,000 students, on which 8,000 MBAs. And that is possible thanks to a strong team, thanks to our faculty member, researchers, staff, and obviously the definition of strategic vision. That's why it's a pleasure for me to leave the floor to the Dean of SDA Bocconi, Professor Stefano Caselli.
Thank you. Thank you, grazie, Giorgia. It's a great pleasure to stay with you today. It's a great emotion, and let me say there is a very strong sense of network and global community here in Milano, and colleagues in Rome or Mumbai, or colleagues and other people spread in every part of the world. So really, let me say, a global platform. It's really a great pleasure to start, let me say, your journey today, because every presentation is a sort of journey, whatever is the outcome, whatever is the decision, but we start a journey, and the first step is to try to understand what is, the content, what is the purpose, what is the payoff of any kind of program, and I'm very happy to share this emotion together with my colleagues. We are here in our campus in Milano, and let me say, in this place, there is the sum up, let me say, of the DNA of our school. On the other side of the road, for people staying here, so physically, we have Bocconi University, founded by an entrepreneur in 1902. Here we are in our school, founded in 1971 by a brave group of professors, very entrepreneurial, and ahead we have the future we have to design together. It's very difficult. No, it's not difficult, but it's, in a certain sense, it's very difficult to kick off the meeting, because you know everything. You enter the website, you go through the program of the Global MBA, and I don't want to waste your time. I want, to say something more. And what I can say is basically to enter in the backstage of the school and to understand better, on the one hand, what is the DNA of the school, and the DNA of whatever kind of school is not possible to read in the website, to go through the document. You have to enter the backstage, and today the sense of this, day devoted to you is to enter the backstage of the school, to start interacting with all the key players, so the backstage. And on the other hand, it's fundamental to understand why a program, why a mastery in SDA Bocconi School of Management. What is the outcome? What is the sense of leadership we want to communicate? Because it's very clear, whatever kind of student want to enter a very challenging program like an MBA, at the end of the day, the outcome is to become a leader. But the question today is, what is the sense to be a leader? What is the profile of a leader? SDA Bocconi School of Management is going to, let me say, to shape, stay in the class together. The school, SDA Bocconi School of Management, is exactly these two words. If you read, our, website, or just simply, what you find, SDA Bocconi School of Management. And these two key words are the sense, are the DNA of our institution. School and management, very simple. So you don't spend a single minute to say school of management. It's obvious, but it's not obvious. So school and management. What is a school? School is really the DNA, because today, when we talk about higher education, we have in mind something very quick. Because to be compliant with the need of education, the temptation today is to download something, and this something could be very high quality. I'm not here to debate about that. And you did the job. The concept of a school is a platform of higher education, and the school is a community made by students, alumni, faculty, staff, corporates, donors. It's really a community working together, so every day we create education. And this classroom for people staying here or just simply at home, you gave a look to the fact this is, a circular auditorium, represent very well the concept of a school. We are here, and in a couple of minutes, it became impossible to understand who is doing what, because I'm talking, you are listening, but you start interacting with me, and just to joke a bit, but it's not a joke, this is the most difficult class for every kind of speaker, because when you stay in a class, you are in the comfort zone. You have the whiteboard behind the shoulders, and you have the power. Okay, in this class, you don't have any power, and that's perfect. I'm out of the comfort zone because you are working together, and this is the sense of the school we like. It is exactly the sense of the school we build every day. But also management is a fundamental word. Management means to lead women, men, resources, individual, organization. Management is responsibility per se. It's equal to responsibility. It's a nonsense to say responsible management, because management is responsible by definition. And responsibility means to be able to lead institution, but also means to be able to exit from the comfort zone. Because the temptation of every manager, but also of every professor, is to stay inside your silos, which is your comfort zone. My comfort zone is finance. Forget it. To be a manager means to break the silos, to interact with different views, with different culture. That's the sense of to be a bright manager. And the second question, if you remember, what is the Bocconi School of Management? And the second question is, which kind of leader the school has in mind? That's quite important, because entering a master, the purpose is to support, to enhance, leader, where leader is not only just simply a role, but is a state of mind. That's quite important. So what is the state of mind we have in mind? Today we live in a world, and we cannot forget, where gaps are increasing every day. We have inequalities in the use of resources, in the management of people, that's fine, I'm not happy, but we live in a world where gaps are increasing. And this is exactly the reason why we discuss about the role and the profile of a leader. A leader is someone who is able not only to say, I want to mind the gap, because mind the gap makes sense, it's risk management. A leader has to fill gaps, not all the gaps of the world, but to try to fill some gap is the duty and is the responsibility of any kind of leader. And this is quite challenging because, let me say, it's the right way to try to combine value you have to create in your organization, because we need to create a value, and we can consider very different metrics. If you are listed in a stock exchange, you are not, you are a public administration, you are a no-profit, you have to create a value considering your metrics, but you have to link to values. And why? Not because it's nice, but because we live in the world where gaps are going to increase, and values are the right answer to try to tackle the gaps we have. Value and values together, that's the destiny of every kind of leader, and that's what we want to do in class together. Have a great day today with us. You have a fantastic opportunity. You are in good hands, and all the best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefano. And now I will introduce the Associate Dean who leads the entire Master Division with our 16 programs, Professor Enzo Baglieri.
Thank you, Giorgia, and welcome, welcome to this event today. This is the most important moment for the Master Division. The Master Division, as the Dean said, is part of a complex organization, as the School of Management is today. We have 16 programs. I have worked been working in the last few years with all my colleagues to rethink and redesign the whole structure and portfolio of the initiatives we have in order to better meet the expectations of people like you who today can be interested in a master program. And I want to share with you the philosophy that we have adopted and the meaning for, let's say, the structure of the current portfolio. So let me say that at the very beginning, we have you, all of you, our prospect, then applicants, and eventually students, if you pass through the selection process, of course. And as you know, the school has this mantra of being designed around the world. Well, your world starts from the fact that today, each one of you has some, let's say, specific skills and background, but most of all, if you're here today or if you are interested in a master program, you're thinking about your future, you're thinking about what is going to happen to your job, to your career, to your competences in the near future. And if you're here, it is because you trust the power of education and the impact that education can have in terms of transforming your skills, your attitudes, and your competences. So initially, the need and the interest in a master program starts with this demand for being transformed. The majority of people approaching a school of management, approaching our school of management, usually focus only on the professional transformation. I must be very honest with you, probably the great part of the transformation you pass through after a master program is personal. I have to say, and I'm not joking, that anytime we ask our alumni what do each one of them remember of their experience, they don't say, unfortunately, the dean, they don't say the associate dean. Very few times they say the director of the program, they say my network, my classmates, the experience I lived and the impact it had, first of all, in transforming myself as a person. And this is, in some sense, also driving the way we have designed in the last years, not only the curricula of each program we are going to present today, but also what we hypothetically define as the peripheral activities, but as you can understand after what I've said, probably for the majority of our students are a large, relevant core part of the whole experience. This transformation at the end has a very specific goal. Each one has his or her own aspirations, and you want to get, you want to, let's say, keep the promise you made to yourself, starting from, as said, an investment in a master program. So starting from these two general main variables in making the decision to attend a master program, we have designed, as said, our portfolio. So remember, aspiration and transformation. Basically, I can say that we can identify two main categories of aspiration. At the very beginning, we have a large portion of our applicants interested in becoming a leader, as the dean said, starting from the focus, the specialization on an industry or a discipline. So that's why we have created part of our portfolio focused on the specialization of each one of these master programs. And then there is a portion of applicants who have, because of their backgrounds, because of their experience, because of their skills, because of their attitudes, they have the aspiration and the dream to lead their organization with different approach, not starting vertically from the specialization, but from the 360 degrees ability in managing the complexity, and then, of course, providing an effective decision-making as leaders. The way we can deliver the transformation process also depends on many constraints and many, let's say, collateral dimensions. And in general, today, we have identified two main formats, two main different processes. That's what we call the intensive, or to simplify, the full-time experience, and on the opposite, for those of you, in the majority case, for people with, say, higher seniority and cannot, let's say, live for a full week, a full-time experience, their job and their activities. Well, for these people, we have designed extensive experiences, extensive curricula in what we call the part-time, in general, let's say, master program. So, just to be very fast, starting from the full-time specialized masters, that's the basic offer of our master. You see also that we have two specific categories. We have programs dedicated to the domestic market and programs dedicated to the international market. Does not mean, to be honest with you, that programs which are delivered in our mother tongue, so in Italian, are focused only on the management of Italian corporations. Of course, the competences, the experience of all our faculty is, let's say, broadly international, and this is part of the contents of any program, independently from the language. But of course, when the market, the segment, the people we want to educate are specifically Italian, we are privileging the Italian language. And for the executive masters, this is the list of programs. I don't go through the detail, of course, of each one, details of each one of them, but just for give you an example, I told you specialization can mean an industry, so we have a master, a specialized full-time program dedicated to the fashion industry and general the management of the business related to luxury experience and design, and we have an executive specialized master focused on the luxury industry and the management of companies operating in this context. Finally, the goal of becoming an orchestrator, these schools in the world we compare with, and let me say honestly, today we are, say, even leading, according to what the most important ranking are stating today, so placing ranking Bocconi, SDA Bocconi among the first tier, the first 10 business schools in the world. They deliver this, we all deliver this promise with the MBA programs, which are the programs we are going to present today. So typically the full-time MBA, the executive MBA, usually dedicated to domestic or regional segment of the market, and finally the global executive MBA, that is the one we are going to introduce to you in a few minutes. And I spend only the last minute to tell you what are the basic characteristics of this program. First, our Global Executive MBA, and now the director, Professor Nando Pennarola, and Paola, and our guest and alumna of our last cohort, they are going to present, is first of all part of a collaboration, a partnership with another business school. Second key element, it is not only, let's say, an experience in terms of the competence you are exposed to, but also in terms of the way we deliver this competence, leveraging on the fact that each specific content has a clear connection with the location where we deliver the content. So that's why you see the 7 different cities where we deliver the program, according to the fact that there is Canada and Rothman, our partner, and Italy and Milan on our side, plus other locations which can help in better deliver even the sense of focusing the content on the program on management and on that specific discipline in management. Well, I leave the stage Georgia, and then to our whole team dedicated to GEMBA, and enjoy the presentation. Of course, feel free anytime you want to get in touch with all of you, and even with me. It's quite easy. Just find my email online and drop an email. I'll answer almost in real time. Thank you.
Just only important information for those online. Feel free to ask your question in our question box. And now I leave the floor to my colleague, Paola Lautaro. She will introduce the Global Executive MBA. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, our Dean, our Associate Dean, and Giorgia Bava. Welcome, everybody, to the presentation of the Global Executive MBA program, our most international program based on the locations, but also based on the class profile. And you will have to take a lot of flights in order to join the program. And today we have the pleasure to have with us, of course, for the presentation, two top guns of the program. The director of the program, Professor Ferdinando Penarola.
Very good morning and afternoon to everyone.
And our alumna who just completed the program this year in March, Eva Majidi. Thank you very much, Eva, for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you all, and looking forward to sharing some information together. Feel free to answer any question.
Indeed. Definitely the session is going to be quite entertaining, in the sense that anytime you have questions, please share with us your questions through online, in case you're connected from home, or here in class we will have the microphone and we will pass it to you in order for you to ask questions. Let's get into the program, and let's understand together, first of all, who the director and our alumna are. So first of all, Nando and Eva, please present yourself, and then we will proceed.
Grazie Paola, pleased to meet all of you. My name is Ferdinando Penarola. The Bocconi website has all the details of the CV. I'm a faculty member of Bocconi University and SDA Bocconi School of Management. I have the privilege of being the program director of our Global Executive MBA. On the research and teaching side, I'm a faculty member teaching change management, also in the Global Executive MBA.
Thank you, Nando. What about you, Eva? Please tell us a bit more about yourself.
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank you again, especially Dean of SDA Bocconi, and also for Nando to having me today, giving me this opportunity to share some experience. So my name is Eva Majidi. So it sounds a little bit more complicated, but at the end, it's very easy to pronounce. I'm an alumna, as Paola just mentioned. I graduated end of March this year from the Global Executive MBA program, dual program together with SDA Bocconi and Rotman University of Toronto. I am 47 years old. It was a challenge for me to get back to studies, put myself out in the, out of my comfort zone, and try to understand what's going on in this changing world. I've been working for 24 years now in the luxury sector. I have a quite international profile because I was born in Germany, raised there, spent 22 years, and then went to France, tried to live the experience in Paris with French companies on international markets. So I will leave back the floor to you, Paola.
Thank you very much. Let's get to better understand together the structure of the program. So Nando, tell us a bit, what is a Global Executive MBA program, and what should our future students expect from it?
Yes, very shortly, because some has been already anticipated, it's a double degree, okay? Within the MBA presentations of today, this is the only double degree, which means you get a 2 degree, one from SDA Bocconi as a European degree, and another one from the Rotman School of Management in Toronto, Canada, which is a valid North American degree. The second is a global program, very global. The class composition is global because the two schools have their own admission procedures, which inevitably makes a group of cohort which is recruited by SDA Bocconi, and the other one by our friends in Canada. The outcome of this is a multicultural, international. It's not very infrequent to see profiles like Eva with born in one country, experiences in many others, but also fluent in Italian and of course in English. And then the third major difference, this is an executive MBA which is offered in modules. These modules are run in 7 different cities of the world. And this is a strong argument for us because we believe that talking about a global perspective means to be consistent with what it means. And consistency means to go where the action takes place. One thing is to tell you about China. The other thing is to go to China. One thing is to dream about India. The other thing is to visit India. And I can, of course, quote also the other locations, but we will get into those later.
Definitely. So Nando, the program is designed for professionals who have achieved some years of professional experience. And of course, it has to be flexible in between work, family life, and then adding also the agenda of the Global Executive MBA program. Tell us a bit more about the modules that students have to attend around the world.
100%, yes. Some of you may have already browsed the public available info. The program starts in the fall, and this is done by design, because by starting in the fall, we have a window of 18 months to deliver the entire program across 10 modules. It allows to dilute over 3 years, which means that every single year there is a limited time window which is dedicated to the program, which makes it compatible with your work duties on a yearly basis to step out from the work duties and to come to the modules. Of course, the big part is the central year. So in this case, it was going to be 2024, where you will be in different modules. But the first start is with the Toronto module, which is coming very soon at the end of September 2023. And then we run another 9 days module in Milano. The program then continues with February module in India, in Mumbai, at the Bocconi campus. Then we travel to San Francisco, and we stay in the Silicon Valley for another week, and this is going to be in April 2024. Then we come back to Europe in Copenhagen in June, where we go to the Copenhagen Business School. And then we have the window of the summer window with electives that you can either take at Bocconi or the Rotman School of Management or to partner schools. The program then continues with the Toronto module in September, and then we travel by the end of 2024 to China and to Shanghai at the CIBS campus in Shanghai. Then the program ends with the 2025 2 modules, one in São Paulo, Brazil, and then the conclusive graduating module in Milano in March of 2025. That's the first of 2 graduations, because you get the graduation from SDA Bocconi School of Management, and then the final graduation, which occurs in Canada, is a campus-wide graduation day. They call it convocation, in the, the heritage and the legacy of North American campuses, which takes place in June. By those 2 graduations moment, you officially enter the alumni network of 2 schools, SDA Bocconi School of Management and the Rotman School of Management.
Crystal clear. Thank you very much, Nando. Actually, Eva, you were just graduating this March, so the memory is quite fresh, right? And we were talking outside that actually during the program you have changed also your career path. So the last months of the program were quite intensive. But first of all, tell us a bit more, how come you decided to apply for a Global Executive MBA program? What pushed you towards this kind of experience?
Yeah, it's a very excellent question. I must say, while listening to Nando, I was going back to memories of my modules in my last experience in this Global Executive MBA, traveling to all these different destinations between Sao Paulo, Mumbai, India, San Francisco, Copenhagen, and so on and so on. It's a truly global experience. What pushed me, actually encouraged me to attend this program as a challenge personally, but also professionally, was to understand what can be a life-changing experience for me, a truly transformation for me, that brings me open back to the markets, to the world. I didn't want to stay fixed on one market. I didn't want to stay fixed in one country, not be associated to one nationality. I really wanted to go to the world and understand What is the world doing? What is the world doing different? What can I learn from best practices? And maybe how can I change also my perspective? Because we're all smart people, and I'm sure you're much smarter than me. We are all convinced that we have already all the solutions. We know everything. We have seen everything. We have experienced so much. But at the end of the day, when you really have to step out of your comfort zone, when you put this challenge to yourself as a personal challenge, you understand very quickly there is a lot to learn in the world. And all our convictions is just a tiny, tiny percentage of everything that you can learn. So for me, again, to answer your question, going to a global executive MBA and not an executive MBA was to have this international experience with different nationalities, with different fellows coming from different cultural backgrounds, having different religious orientation, different sexual orientation, different beliefs in their lives, different ages. We were, the youngest in our group was actually 29, and I think the oldest was 52. It was not me, but it was quite close to that group. So it was interesting to get into something really different, taking me on this journey where I really transformed to a better, a greater person, a smarter person, and I think a more respectful person in this world.
Thank you very much, Eva. So we saw together that during the program, of course, you have to travel a lot, you have to proceed with your professional agenda, with your family, let's say, agenda. How is the program structured, Nando, in order to allow our students to proceed with all these activities? And I would like also, of course, to hear Eva's experience, because the program was 18 months, so I suppose your memories are quite intense from the period.
Grazie Paola. The program is carefully spaced in the calendar to allow a window of transition between one module and another. So typically we have about 30, 40 days between modules. This assumes that in preparation to the next module, you may have to catch up with some reading material, but at the end of the module, you are likely to be engaged with some homework or take-home exams or final projects, which are your final assessment for the courses that you take. Modules are intensive modules, so we go straight from 8:30 in the morning until the end of the day, and this goes from Monday to Saturday. Saturday at lunch we close the module. There are two exceptional modules, which are the Milano and Toronto, and three, and the Shanghai, which last 9 days. So they start on Friday and they end on Sunday. Now, with the exceptions of these modules, you understand that in most of the cases, you have to organize your travels in the weekend to be ready to be in class on Monday at 8:30. So usually this is maybe disrupting personal life, but very unlikely to touch base the work life. And as well, by ending the module on the lunch break of Saturday, once again, you can then travel back home and again, having a limited impact on work life under the assumption that by Monday you can be back on your desk. So this is the transitioning of getting organized on that. Now, I can also anticipate that we never change the dates of these modules. It's impossible to change these dates. Very simple, because these dates, believe it or not, are being carefully spaced, but also applied to the location where we can go, also according to local holidays. And the world is a very complicated place. You always have some holidays somewhere. And consequently, you know that you cannot be on some days in India because everything is shut down. You cannot be in China because February is the moment of their New Year's. So there are millions of reasons that make this calendar very well designed and very unchangeable. And this is, I would say, a good news for all the participants, because from day one, you can start scheduling your life, your personal life, and your work life according to the dates of the modules, which you know at the very beginning will not be changed.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Nando. Of course, you're the voice of the director, right? You
Let's hear her voice.
designed all this program. What about you, Eva? How did you manage to tackle all the activities in your life? And what were also the experiences of your peers in class? Because, of course, the class is quite diversified.
Yeah, it's an excellent point to transition to actually a key concept that will be for sure a red thread in this journey is organization, anticipation, and really make sure that you get into time management. Time management is indispensable. Once you have decided to join this program of a truly global executive MBA, it means that you have to be prepared to work on time for sleep, because you have to rest. You have to work on time to read, because there is lots of articles and books that you have to read in a short time. You have to train your brain, so you need to dedicate time to have, this training of the process of your brain to make sure that you can accelerate your concentration span, because yes, we read, we have a lot of information on a daily life, we read books, we read articles, we are curious, but when you have such a short time, you need to make sure that you really dedicate personally enough time that you can train to get on that level. So that's quite an important challenge. So organization again is quite important, but you have this super advantage that you have all the schedules already and the dates already planned. I think it's one thing to have, the concept in mind, wow, we're going to go and travel and it's going to be great. We're going to be in India, we're going to be in San Francisco and Copenhagen. It sounds all exciting. I think there is one little detail that we have to prepare on to is jet lag and time difference.
Good point.
Because jet lag is already a personal challenge for those who need a lot of sleep. Again, focus on how to organize, to have kind of reserve on your sleeping energy. If you're a sports person, then, it's good to have your activity going on. There is a lifestyle that you have to develop actually to make sure that you can be endurant during this 18 months experience. A lifestyle is you cannot go and party like every weekend or like 5 times a week. It's impossible. So it's a real commitment to participate, not only for yourself, but also for the benefit of the group. Because if you're not in the group cannot work. This is something that we're facing every day in our professional life, but also in personal life. So again, if we dysfunction, the group dysfunctions, and then the entire system is going to dysfunction. So I think this detail of time difference and jet lag is very important. Also linked to your duty of professional activity. Because in parallel, we should not forget that we are still working. It's a challenge also here that we have to manage our responsibilities in the professional life at distance with time difference. Maybe some of you need to have still meetings going on, so sometimes you have to skip out of classroom and attend some meetings. As much as you can, it would be great to have the support of your personal environment, because if your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, kids, whatever people in your personal life can support you, it's a treasure. It's worth everything, to transport you throughout this journey. By yourself, you cannot manage it, because there will be lots of moments where you also will feel quite lonely. You will feel, okay, why did I take this decision? I have no social life. You have this impression that you're disconnected from the world. So it's a true support from the personal side. From the professional side, as much as you can anticipate as well with your boss, with your superior, with your colleagues, with your teams also, to prepare them that you are going to be on this journey in order to here start your journey of a leader. Because the leader is going to delegate, is going to fix targets. You have, again, here to organize and anticipate priorities, set your priorities for yourself, and trust. Because if you don't trust, and you continue to be a control freak, then nothing's going to happen. And as a matter of fact, you're going to be your own obstacle in your own journey. So I guess it's a great concept. Then to live it, it's a different experience. You have to be ready and to be committed 100%. It means for this transformation, you have to be fully in.
Definitely. And let's make it a conversation. So I don't know, in case you have questions in class, just raise your hand and we will be happy to pass your microphone. Also from home, in case you have questions, type them in and we will be happy to answer them. We are quite lucky today to have both the director and Eva with us. So definitely take this opportunity. As the director says, if you don't ask, you don't know, right?
Very simple. Asking is a very simple exercise.
Yes,
very good. Just wait the microphone.
Hello, my name is Max. Very superficial, but I think pretty sensitive question. I mean, life is bright, it's not scheduled, and 18 months, at least for me, is a long period of time. What if you miss a module? This means that you fail, you are not able to graduate, or how it works?
Okay, so this is an academic answer. Several answers, different ways. We have been, of course, experiencing this many times, and we have good equipment and solutions for that. If you miss an entire module because something completely unpredictable occurs to you, it depends when in the calendar this occurs, because of the overlap of different programs, most of the cases we are able to offer you to retake the module with the following cohort without delaying graduation. So this means that you might have some packed travel the year after because you may have back-to-back many two modules together, but it's doable, okay? And this is once again because of the spacing in the calendar of the different modules. The second answer is that in some exceptional cases, you may need to find replacement courses to get the credit of the courses that you're missing. And in the very last resource, you can get a home learning package to catch up with your classmates. But we use this as a very exceptional resources for, let me get into the detail, problems related to visa, problem related to people that have a hard time to get permission to travel for nationality reasons. We do not discriminate by passport, of course. So we welcome everyone. We alert everyone that if your passport has, let me make an example, which is maybe not represented in this room, I don't know, maybe online, but if you have a passport from Pakistan, you will have a hard time to get in the India module. And I don't have to entertain anyone, I think everybody knows. And this has occurred to us in the past, and we have been managing these cases with either replacement or other solutions in order to, of course, allow them to complete the entire learning. So it's not just the unexpected events, which can always occur, but also some, difficulties by nationalities, which makes the bar a little bit higher than other programs. But we have enough experience how to handle this.
Definitely. Also, an important thing is that you have the dates with super large advance. For example, right now we have the whole schedule for 2024 edition, right? The one starting in September 2024. And we also quantified the days out of office, right? Now,
yes, please.
I don't know if you can show the
there
slide
is a page, yes,
in which we have quantified per year how many days you have to stay out of the office. So in 2024, 12 days. Most of the program takes part in 2025, 31 days, and then another 10 days in 2026. So for sure, organization also, as Eva said before, is fundamental during the program.
Absolutely, also because the class days, since they include some weekend time, at the end you have more class days than out of the office days. The 9 days module, they go straight across the weekend. So starting on Friday is a work day, but then Saturday and Sunday are, for us, learning days, but they are typically out of the office issues. So this is very carefully balanced to make sure that in the central year, you have a limit of 31 out of office work days.
Definitely. Some other questions? Don't be shy. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. So I have 2 different questions. The first one is, for example, the travel fees, the hotel fees to stay there. This is, let's say, included in the price, or we have also to take care of this?
Simple answer. There is a general rule established very clearly on the Bocconi brochures and website. We do not include in the tuition the hotel stay in the home countries, and the home countries are Canada and Italy. So when you come here, you have to accommodate according to your preferences. But the tuition does include your hotel stay when we go outside of the 2 home countries, namely San Francisco, São Paulo, India, China, and Copenhagen. There's a very simple reason. In most of these places, we better stay under the same roof to facilitate the logistics of travels, to do company visits. So we prefer to do the booking on our side for the entire group. It's typically regular office places like 4-star rated hotels, and that is included into the tuition fee.
And, also regarding the flight, this is
it's impossible to include flights because when you have 40 people coming from 23 different countries, the fares would be too much different. So everyone has to take care about its own travels.
Can you maybe tell us a little bit about also the experience? I mean, when we are there, we will follow class in different environments. We will meet new people during, let's say, the class time. And after, let's say, what are the activities to bound, let's say, ourselves to that specific place?
I leave it to Eva.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. So actually, it's a real-life case. I'm not explaining something that is not existing. So I went through it, and my 43 fellows lived this experience together. So we were 44 in our cohort. So first of all, each module has a focus on specific topics. It's not that you have 10 different topics. There is most of the time 3 topics that is focused on. So you have change management, you have strategy, you have corporate finance, et cetera, so all these different topics that you can also find on the brochure. So each module has, most of the time, 3 focused topics. You will have enough time in between modules to learn and to read and to prepare yourself with already some pre-assignment projects, for example, that you can prepare to be ready in class to work with groups. Each module has a composition of a specific group, which is not constant, so each module changes the group composition, which will every time also shake you a little bit up because, again, you will be out of your comfort zone. It's one thing to socialize with your fellows. It's another thing to work with your fellows because people sometimes can be very different. You will have opportunity in class to work in groups on assignments. Most of the modules require projects that you have to prepare in very short time in specific topics in class, so you will be enough time outside the classroom to prepare and so on. With the presentation, you will be valued, so you will have a grade on that as a group, and you will continue on with personal individual assignments. That's what's going to happen during the module. After the module, you will have enough time, most of the times 2/3 weeks, where you work on your personal project that you have to submit. It's always linked to this module topics. So there is a very intense time of learning, preparing, and in group and also individually. Coming to the experience itself during the module in each different destination, you will have real-life cases. So you will go really to top-notch companies. We were, for example, in Silicon Valley. We were received by different companies like Salesforce and so on. So it's not like a small company around the corner. It's like top-notch management and executives where we have the opportunities to first of listen to, second to have Q&A, so also ask our questions coming from so many different countries because not all of us understand, for example, what is Salesforce about. And you will also have the opportunity to have, let's say, a work exercise together with the colleagues of those companies. In the evening, you will be smashed, of course, because it's very intense. But you will be astonished about, human capacity, human potential, which we are not aware of, and where there is enthusiasm, where there's adrenaline, where there is empowerment, where there is a group effect also, because you will be bonding with your colleagues. If you don't want it, or if you want it, you will be bonding by nature. You will have some, extra energy to also experience the local countries. There is a great initiative also from SDA Bocconi and from Rotman. Most of the times there is 1 or 2 evenings which are organized by the business schools in order to give us a local experience. So we also have, some organizations, so not to be by ourselves in the middle of Mumbai, for example, so that we can also understand what is the culture about. Because it's not only traveling, to a destination. You have to deep dive into different cultures, because the world is done about cultures and difference. One of the topics so many companies now talk about in marketing, strategy, communication is diversity and inclusion and equity and so on and so on. This is a real-life experience where you can come up with your experience and say, I lived it really on my skin, I shared this, I grow from this, and I looked at the others, and I can become, a stronger leader with different opinions and proposals.
If I may add, the week is very packed. She's been very diplomatic, but you will have a hard time for your free time. Also because it doesn't make sense to invest for such a big program and then having tourism. We don't travel for tourism, just to make a clear statement. It occurs very often, I don't know whether you took this opportunity, that sometimes people stretch the module, they extend the module for their personal tourism reasons, and instead of staying a week in Mumbai, they stay for another 2 to 3 days for their own personal travel. This is up to you, is up to everyone, but that is the personal, tourism moment, which is not part of the program. Okay? I think there was a nearby question. Yes, please.
No.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to stay here to hear your explanation. Just a quick question about mentoring part. I heard in the morning about mentoring part in executive MBA. I would like to know if in the GEMBA project there is a mentoring part. Thanks.
We have a career development service which is developed jointly by the two schools, the Rothman School of Management, SDA Bocconi School of Management, which includes mentoring and personal counseling for career choices. It's fairly complicated to deliver because of time zones. You should imagine a group of 40 and something with maybe 5, 6 different time zones in your case.
Yeah.
That's quite of a challenge. This means that you cannot deliver this at one given time during the day, because you may have a Canadian person that is sleeping, or you may have a Middle East person that is another time zone. So the two schools split the work of doing career coaching and mentoring to people according to time zones, okay? Trying to strike a balance according to where you're living and when you are available. We've been pretty satisfied so far in doing so. I think we definitely will continue offering the same. I think it's a good opportunity to take it because many people end up in transitioning during the program, and I think we have a witness here of a transitioning career during the program. And I think you may want to tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually,
because you changed your job during the program.
Yeah, it was a, I don't know if it was a crazy decision. I was very sure that I will make it, and I made it, but it was a very bold decision. Coming back to this career development program and the support of mentoring, I must say I was very surprised that I actually was being based in Italy and also having gone through SDA Bocconi for this program. I actually was more mentored by Rothman University of Toronto because it was just a good fit from a North American perspective to mentor me a little bit of how to redirect, my career development and my personal development. I had several proposals actually at that time during my GEMBA program. And at the end of the day, I think I took the right decision. It was a process. We organized each other with time zones and time difference and so on. But it was a quite interesting experience because after 3-4 coaching moments, I perfectly understood which decision I had to make for myself. And so that was a decision I took last year in October. That was 6-7 months before my graduation. And I'm in this company now. I'm actually a part of Group Caring, which is probably most of you know is the second largest luxury group in the world. So it was a bold move, but it was a great decision.
Questions. Remember, if you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah.
There's a question down there.
Okay. Well, thank you. What you explain to me is fascinating, the idea of traveling, moving to different countries and having all this experience. But what I'm wondering is it really compatible with the typical workload that people has, so in a typical job in a career path. So what I'm wondering, this is maybe a question to Eva, how did you manage to balance your workload in your job and the study at the MBA? Did you find a compromise with the company or something like reducing your workload, or was it compatible?
Very good question. I think I will be very frank and honest. I think everybody in our cohort was experiencing in the beginning like a shock, because we were all super organized people. I mean, I'm German born and raised, which means already something. I have a kind of like organization education. But we were shocked. We were shocked on the, let's say, in the first module, which actually for us was at that time in Milan, 10 days. We were totally, under shock, and we're not really understanding how to cope with all this workload. Reading, books, articles, references, group work, projects, assignment, getting to know the people, interact, participate in class. It's long days. It's not like you start at 9 and you finish at 5. So it's long, long days, so you're exhausted. In the same time, you have your iPhone calling, you have messages, WhatsApps, emails coming. So I must say, in the beginning, it was a first experience, first wave of kind of like earthquake. But I think, and we all actually faced this challenge, and the outcome was amazing, because we have many candidates also graduating with cum laude, which is, I must still say chapeau and congratulations to my fellows and colleagues in the cohort, which did an amazing experience and job sharing also with us, and also personally for them. It is possible. I think it's the challenge itself of this program, and it's strictly linked to your own challenge that you're posing for yourself. Why do you want to go into this global executive MBA? Why do you want to go on international markets? Why are you choosing more to go to the world rather than stay, for example, in an executive MBA that you could perfectly do on campus, on weekend, or during the week? So this is a question for yourself. If you have the answer, then you have to commit, because of course, commitment goes for yourself, but also your environment. So you have to prepare with your company. Most of the times, you don't take this decision without talking to your company. Most of the times, you go through HR and your boss and general management and so on, because they might also be very, very enthusiastic about this commitment and encourage you to grow, because you're an asset in the company. So sometimes they participate, even they sponsor you, which sometimes it's linked to some personal commitment for another 2-3 years in the company. Sometimes it's just, an agreement between you and the company, where you say, okay, I will do this and I will stay in the company. I will also share with you, all my learnings and my growing process to maybe step up in my career process in the company to the next level. So it's feasible, it's combinable. Of course, it's not a one-man decision. You have to consult the people around you. It's a real commitment. So workload is manageable, but you have to really make sure that you get organized.
I need to add that the Global Executive MBA, as well as the Executive MBA done in modules, not the weekend format, in both cases, let's talk about our program, you cannot put under the sand that you are doing a Global Executive MBA. You have to talk to your employer. Period. You have to talk to your employer. You have to agree with your employer that there will be some weeks where you will be off. And this opens the negotiation and the agreement of the win-win part, to what extent you are returning something for your employer, and what you're, of course, getting as a Global Executive MBA. When this agreement is done, then you have to, of course, keep the promise and deliver the promise by rolling out all the modules. My experience, I'm not watching only Eva's case, but many others, it has been a very successful win-win case in many, many cases. People that have been upgraded by their home employer during the program because they saw the benefit of that. At the end of the story, you need to be very well organized and, once again, strike a very good agreement with your employer.
I think just adding to this point, maybe also your own challenge that you're having with this choice of doing an executive MBA or global executive MBA is, what is your ultimate goal? You really want to become a leader and a future, let's say, boss. You want to be a person who is a change agent. If you really want to be that person, then the experience starts now, even in the negotiation with your company, with your family, with your friends, with yourself. You have to make sure, are you really a leader or where do you want to head to? And that's just, the experience starts actually with this decision. And second point I would like to add, I don't know your professional activity. In which sector are you?
I work in insurance.
Insurance. Ah, perfect. We had I had one super fellow who was also working insurance and was graduated with cum laude. It was an amazing profile. There is many different sectors. So in this Global Executive MBA, you will also learn how other people actually get organized. We had people that were entrepreneurs. We had people coming from the art industry, people from business, people from capital markets, people from banking. So many different, profiles. And you learn also from them how they get organized. Because again, we think that we know everything. But the more you know, actually, the more you know that you don't know. So at the end of the day, you can learn constantly.
Sure. Thank
Questions?
you. Yes, one question over there. While preparing, getting the microphone, there is a question from home. Afef asked, is it possible to attend online? Most probably Afef just connected with us right now. So Nando, if you'd like to.
Okay, a very straight and easy answer, no. We have canceled the hybrid simultaneous attendance from remote and from the campus. We don't do this anymore because this has ended to be the worst case scenario for both groups, the one in the room and the one from home. So we are asking to connect with another module in case you miss it. I've covered already the topic, but the hybrid learning is canceled.
Definitely. Thank you.
Please.
So first of all, thanks for this opportunity and information. I'd like to understand what are the requirements to apply for this program?
Definitely. Very nice question. Thank you very much. Actually, I have prepared the slide on the selection process. Very soon, we will start the selection process for the 2024 edition. Right now, next week, we are going to start the 2023 edition. So once we conclude the class, we are going to start the selection process for 2024. And as you will see, actually, it's quite a linear process. No big, let's say, obstacles in your application, but you have to prepare a bit in time, right? So my strong advice, do take advantage of time. Since you're here today, since you're getting information, do not wait to the very last deadline, which each and every year is in June. So usually in June, the majority of the class is formed already, so possibilities are a bit lower. But right now, I think that the selection process is quite on a good phase. So first of all, you'll have to submit the online application, which is a form that requires some general information like name, surname, email address, but you'll find also the famous essay type questions, right? So questions getting more in depth into motivations, aspirations, strong points, weak points. Of course, is the first touch point with the commission. Once you submit the application, my colleagues from the admission team are going to contact you. So they are going to invite you to have the interview with one of the members of the commission. Of course, they will want to meet you, to meet you or to meet you in person in case you want to come on campus to have the interview. Definitely it is possible. There are no extra points in case you take it on campus or if you take it online. It's the same process for everyone. And of course, with the commission, you will have, they will need to understand a bit what you're going to bring to the class, the value of your experiences, what you're going to take out of the class, so how the program is going to help you achieve more growth and more responsibilities. And of course, you're going to be invited also to have the entry test. We do accept GMAT or GRE in case you have any of the two. Definitely, we accept them. I don't know, you prepared the GMAT, if I'm not wrong, at the time. It's not compulsory. We do have the alternative, which is our own internal test, the SDA test, which compared to GMAT or GRE, it is a first sight test. So you don't have to prepare in advance. You'll get a simulation. So you'll have a mock-up test to understand the structure, the type of exercises, and then you receive the link to the real test that you can have directly from home. Of course, English cannot be a problem during the program, so we do accept international experiences in case you have worked in international companies, in English-speaking countries, or if you have studied in English during your bachelor or master of science. Definitely we do accept these experiences. Otherwise, we do accept the English test. It can be a TOEFL, an IELTS, Cambridge Advanced Proficiency, up to you to decide which of this test. Usually from the moment when you complete the whole selection process, it takes up to 4-6 weeks in order to find out whether you've been admitted or not to the program. So with super large advance, you'll know also how to organize yourself, because of course organization is fundamental throughout the program. You'll know how to organize yourself for September 2024. In case you'd like to organize a meeting on campus, so for those of you today here, you had the opportunity to have a campus tour, so to see a bit the atmosphere and the spirit on our campus. But in case you'd like to organize it in the days to come, or if you'd like to attend a class or arrange a call, definitely I would like to share with you also our contacts. Just drop us an email and we'll be very happy to get back to you. So I think that this answers a bit the question. I don't know if you had some other specific, you wanted some other specific details on the, it's fine, perfect. I'm going to get back on the slide here. Some other questions? Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's me again. I have pretty personal question, maybe for you also, because I mean, today I'm really considering whether it is needed for me to go to this course or not, because I have almost 20 years experience in my industry and I'm in a pretty good position in my industry today, and I think it's more or less common case also for you, because I believe that even before the entering this course you had a great career in fashion. So my question is, can you, it's a very HR question, sorry for this. Can you name 3 key outtakes from this course for you personally, whatever they are?
Asking to both of us? Louis.
I love this experience that you're sharing, because I was in your shoes when I decided to do this Global Executive MBA. I will share with you what I had actually stated when I was asked, also officially from SDA Bocconi and Rotman University of Toronto, because it was also published on social media campaigns with SDA Bocconi. So first of all, it's structure, vision, and empowerment. We all believe that we have it, and for sure you have it. I had it too, I'm sure, at a certain level. But there is nothing comparable to these truly global experiences, because you will meet, as before also Enzo was mentioning, so many different people. The experience will be, I think for me it was 50% the class content, I mean the Global Executive Program itself, and 50% people. And you have no clue how much you can learn from people. I was working actually with engineers. It's a total different world for me. I had no idea how that works in their mind. And they had no idea about my career. They had no idea how I work as an animal. And learning together in this short time, being under pressure, having time pressure, having constrained pressure, being on jet lag and having this amount to do, will throw you into a total different level of experience. And I think for me, I came back with more structure, with a broader vision, and I was empowered because I learned so much from other methods and other skills that I didn't have in my luggage. I had it maybe somewhere hidden, but it wasn't activated. So I came out with activations of those hidden talents, I would say. And it's never too late to learn, huh? We always learn until the last day of life, actually.
The doubts, questions.
I see the ladies very shy. I would like to have some invitation to participate with some of your ideas or motivations why you're choosing or why you're sitting here today and why you're curious about this program. May I ask you?
I'm thinking about an MBA, not a global executive MBA.
I think you have to use the microphone.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking about MBA, not a global executive MBA, so I'm just listening here. That's where I don't have too many doubts.
Comparing the two programs, definitely.
Yes.
Actually, yeah, we see today that in class there are some female candidates, not a lot of you. Unfortunately, this is reflected also in class. This is why, as a school, we have decided until we don't get at 50-50 in class, male-female, we will have always some specific scholarships only for female candidates. An important aspect indeed is the tuition waivers that we have available. So very soon you will find on our website also the scholarships. You will see that all of them, they are based on merit. So what the Commission is going to assess throughout your selection process are going to be academic results, results that you have throughout your academic life, professional experiences, the different growth and responsibilities that you had throughout your career path, plus, of course, the result of the entry test. So based on these three factors, they are going to create a ranking, and those who are going to have higher results are going to receive also the scholarship. So definitely stay tuned. Very soon we are going to have them published on the website. So I don't know if you have some other questions or not. I would like to ask Eva, since we have the opportunity to have her today with us, since not long ago, like 3 years ago maybe, you were in their shoes deciding whether to take a Global Executive MBA or whether not to take it. What advice would you give them today, since you were there?
Well, actually, yes, not long ago I was in your shoes, and actually I was in some other shoes too, because I was actually planning to step to INSEAD, the Global Executive MBA, at the very beginning. So I did my assessment first in Fontainebleau, and I must say my experience, despite of all my expectations, because I was looking at this Global Executive MBA for such a long time, was a little bit, let's say, was not in line. So my expectations and my experience were not aligned. And I came back to Milan at that time, and I read an article on social media, on LinkedIn, I think, about the latest ranking of SDA Bocconi. And I told myself, let's give it a try and call. And I was welcomed by Nando and the team in a very short time interview and meeting. And I must say, my experience and the difference that I could, that was for me clear, crystal clear, why to enter the Global Executive MBA and enter it in SDA Bocconi, was crystal clear after this interview, because this experience showed to me that there is different ways of doing a Global Executive MBA. And the program that was presented in SDA Bocconi was a truly global program. It was not something, oh, let's go, we have an opportunity to go from Paris, you know, we go to one city and maybe we can see something different. And I was attending actually the future cohort, which was not so international. I was actually sitting with, I think with 30 other male colleagues, all coming from finance, and we were like very few ladies. Not that I'm a feminist, of course. I mean, it's all same thing. So, but it was a curious experience between what is said and then what is really executed. And the difference in SDA Bocconi, Global Executive MBA, is there is a perfect alignment between the goals and the objectives which are announced and the execution, so the experience that you're really going to go through. I would like to come back just 1 second to your question. Also, why choosing after 20, 21 years of career this kind of program? As a matter of fact, there is such a large spectrum of topics that you're looking at that either you're a CEO, a super CEO already, and you have seen already everything. Okay, which not yet. Great. But what industry are you in? Pharmaceutical. Okay. So there is certain topics, as we said before, there are specialties. So you come from a certain sector, you have your expertise, you have your road, let's say your highway that you're driving, and you think you know everything. As a matter of fact, all these different modules will propose you a large spectrum of topics, which can go from change management. Do you have any idea about change management? Something, but when you're really inside, then you're like, okay, I didn't know that. What about strategy? Strategy seems such a nice word. Everybody thinks, oh, I can do strategy. But there is really, from an academic point of view, there is lots to learn to structure your strategic approach, Do you know anything about leadership? Well, we all think we're all leaders, sure we are, but again, there is also an academic background to get prepared to enhance your leadership style. But also corporate finance. I mean, for me personally, I did not know that I had also that talent. I discovered it, I was working before for a private equity, so something about numbers I knew. But that passion that was born out of this corporate finance experience was clear for me that in future, if I have to step up to the CEO position, I will definitely integrate the corporate financial structure inside, because this is something I'm super passionate about. So you will understand even your skills and your talents better. So again, you will have a large spectrum of modules and topics to learn and hopefully to become a future CEO, not only a leader in your life, but also in the company you're in.
Thank you very much.
I may add, Paola, if I can, that the senior you get in your life, the more experienced you get, the most appropriate program would be an executive MBA, the global or the local one. There is a price to pay to disconnect and to be fully dedicated to a program. The executive format allows you to keep your employment status, to keep your connection with the work environment. And I think this allows also to bring some more energy into your work environment, because you continuously blend the learning from the class with what you do at work, okay? And this is the real added value of getting the global flavor of an executive MBA. And I would like also to add a very last comment. When I was asked by my school to be the program director of our global executive MBA, I've done many jobs in the school. I was never be appointed the global executive director. I was very naive to assume that, well, it's a perfect program for the ones that when they were in the late 20s, early 30s, were not ready yet to get an MBA. So they had to kind of postpone the moment of the MBA. And so someday, when they get into the late 30s, early 40s, they may consider the executive MBA. Believe it or not, but we have a growing number of applicants that come to our global executive MBA with significant seniority that in the past, they had an MBA. And this tells you something. It tells you that updating your knowledge is the key tool to survive in very complicated business environments. And once again, it's not only us. I can show some interesting facts by other schools as well. So there is a kind of a moment in life when, even though when you were in your late 20s, early 30s, you got an MBA full-time, maybe one day later in your career, you have to consider to come back to take another MBA. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you, Nando. There is a question. Yes, very last question, please.
Hi, Manuel speaking. I just wanted to ask you, do you think the program is a good fit for someone who wants to change career tracks? And how do you think it would support this process?
Paola, you have the right page.
Definitely.
I can answer by the fact, and then Eva can answer by her experience. This is the fact. Our LinkedIn page, SDA Bocconi, publish with, I think, every 6 months, the state of the art of the global executive MBA graduates over the decades. The blue column tells you how many people have been changing their job since the start of the program. Of course, if you go backwards in the years, you see many people that have been changing jobs. But also, if you look at the last column, you see people that are changing job during the program, as Eva has been, witnessing. So to answer to your question, is this a transition tool to get into another industry, into another job? If you want, yes, it is. And the fact is represented by this page. We keep the update of this page when the next cohorts will come, and you can check it out on the LinkedIn pages. This is by the number, your experience.
Yeah, adding to this, to these numbers, which are self-explaining, is don't forget that you will have a significant network expansion. So you have your network that is already established. You will jump into a complete different network already through the business school. Business school SDA Bocconi, but also business school Rutman University of Toronto, because it's two different networks that is globally, worldwide working. And again, through your fellows, you will also get into different professional networks because you will connect with other people from different industries. So we will have this cliquet effect where we have one after the other networks actually expanding in a quite outrageous way. So this will allow you a larger exposure, a bigger visibility, understanding where are opportunities, maybe also understanding different activity, businesses, different sectors. Maybe I'm passionate about sports, and I had actually one of the proposals were changing to the sports sector. I took my decision, I went back to luxury, fine, but there is also this opportunity because the network effect will be outrageous. Don't underestimate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we're perfectly on time. It's 1:32. I would like, first of all, to share with you also the contacts of our director and also of our coordinator of the program, Emilia Paulino. She's actually in the classroom right now. She's teaching, but maybe she's going to be with us at the networking coffee outside. And of course, also our contacts. In case you have further doubts or questions in the days to come, we will be more than happy to get in touch with you. And I would like to thank you very much, Eva, for being with us today. Also, Nando, thank you.
Grazie, Eva.
Thank you for being with us.
Grazie.
See you outside. See you outside for the networking coffee.